Hi, everyone. This is Kathy Mamolen. I'm a psychic medium and intuitive life coach. Welcome to my top 5.5 decks, tarot decks for my 2020 collection that I've added to this year. So I'm really excited. It was really, really hard for me to narrow down to 5 decks. It ended up being 5.5. And I have 2 honorable mentions. So stay with me all the way to the end because my favorite deck of the year is going to be last. I'm definitely going to put that at the end as a big announcement. That will be my deck for 2020. And the reason why I selected it as my deck is an incredible, incredible story as a psychic. So you don't want to miss that. So stay with me. Let's see what my choices are. I'm going to go quickly through these. All of the decks that I'm using today will be in the description below, and many of them do have a full flip through in review on my channel, and the ones that I have a review of, I will add the link below in the description. So as many of you know, I use lots of decks. I love my decks. They're a big part of my life, and I added quite a few decks this year, and you have been seeing them on my channel. You see them on my lives. So I hope that you enjoy seeing these decks, and I hope that you agree with me that these are the top choices for my collection this year. So let's get started. 2020, my deck collection. These are my favorites. Now, some of these decks were new on the market. If I know that they were new in the market, I'll let you know, but they, some of them were, I don't know if it was this year or last year or, that they're older, but some of them are definitely new on the market this year. So that is, I will let you know that also. Okay. So I'm going to start. They're not in a particular order except for my last favorite deck, which will be my deck of the year. I'm going to call it my deck of the year for 2020 is my last deck. So they're not in any kind of order. So keep that in mind. It's not like, I didn't rank them. They're just in an order. Okay. So I'm going to start. I'm a big Rider-Waite reader. Psychic. I started out on Rider-Waite. I've been studying Rider-Waite for many, many years. I have very traditional decks. And I added this year the Radiant Y Spirit Tarot. And, I have other Rider-Waite decks, so I wasn't really motivated to buying other decks because I feel like I have so many and I'm pretty, fond of the ones that I have. But when I saw this, I said, I liked that it was borderless. And I said, let me add it to my collection. So here is the backing. It's a very traditional size tarot deck. It has a very average size cardstock, a little bit glossy. But what I love about this deck is I loved the vibrant colors and I love the bleed off the edges. I just love how it's just goes right off the edges in the bleeds, no borders. I love the intensity of the colors. The colors I'm very drawn to. So for me, it was a very updated Rider-Waite deck. I have to tell you, I can't even begin to tell you. I have it on my table every day. It has become my go-to Rider-Waite. I am just so comfortable with it. I just love the vibrancy. I love the shuffle of it. It's just so pretty to me. And I loved it so much that I turned right around and I bought the mini. So there's my half. There's my half. There's my 1.5 decks. It is the Rider, the Radiant Y Spirit mini deck. Okay. So just to show you the difference in size, here is the mini and here is the large scale. Okay, so, quite a significant difference. And I love the mini. So if I don't have the larger scale deck out on my table when I'm working, I grab the mini and I tuck it into the corner so that I have it as kind of like this little go-to deck. And the other thing that I love about this little mini deck is I'm a hand over hand shuffler. So sometimes when I'm just thinking, meditating, in between appointments, waiting to get onto a call, something like that, I will just sit with this little baby deck and I will just shuffle these little cards. And it's so comforting that it actually has gotten me hooked on minis. Probably not a good thing, but you may be seeing a lot more minis in my collection because they're just fun to shuffle. I love the little scale of it, and I have just been shuffling away. So that is, look at how adorable that is. So the little minis have a border, whereas the full-size deck are borderless. Okay, so if you are a Rider-Waite, and this deck I think has been on the market for a little while, I just hadn't purchased it. So if you are a Rider-Waite reader or enthusiast, this is a great deck to have in your collection. So I'm really excited. It's definitely a favorite. Okay, my next deck is a deck that I know is new on the market. I'm not sure when it came out, but it definitely came out this year, and that is the Shadowland Tarot. And I have to tell you, I don't usually go for cutesy decks. I have a tendency to lean more towards more traditional or more dramatic or, artwork, even more traditional artwork, something like that. But I have to tell you, I don't know why I was drawn to this deck, but it is by Monica Bodirsky, and she's done some other, and it's in a beautiful box. It is in this magnetic flip through box. I did a walkthrough of this. It has a beautiful, beautiful, fully colored guidebook, which, and it's so clever. Some of the words, I actually want to read this again because the writing in the deck itself, look at this little spider on the side. How cute is that? Every time I look at it, I see something new. I learn something new. This artist is so talented. Now, for some of you that know, I started out my career as a designer. I have a big design background. I graduated from a large art school in New York, and I ended up interior designing for 25 years. So I have such an appreciation for even the box design, the graphics, the illustration, the work that goes into the publishing aspects of these decks. Half the time I think I'm buying the whole package, which is really important to me because I do collect them, I do save them, I do put them in a safe place, and they're personal to me. So this deck was so amazing, but not only is it designed well, the card stock, here's the back of the card. So cute. I use these for all of in my Halloween lives. I even pulled it out recently, even though it's kind of more Halloween-y. But the illustrations are so gorgeous. Look at, here's the Two of Pentacles. Okay, there are these watercolor illustrations. She has such a unique style, and it's so her that no other artist could ever duplicate her, copy her. And that's what I love. When you look at the details in these cards, they are absolutely adorable. Just the talent is beyond me. The next thing that I loved about this deck, this is one of my favorite decks to hold and to shuffle. It has a weight to it. Look at the edging. There's a lot of decks coming out in the market with this gilded, edging. The edgings are really important. The backings, the weight of the stock. Those are all things that just kind of give it that quality. But I'm an overhand shuffler, like I said. So watch this. Look at this. It's the weight. It's like shush, 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 shush. The sound of it, the weight of it. Sometimes I just sit here and shuffle this deck because it is so comforting to me. So, it gets an A++ for just the shuffle. Okay. But I love the overall tone of it. I loved the overall color scheme. Look at the colors in this card. I don't know if she's watercolors, colored pencils, Prismacolor, probably watercolors, but they're so gorgeous. And, kudos to her for the packaging design, the guidebook, the edging, the backing, the weight of the cards. Everything about this deck is absolutely top notch, and I am so grateful it's in my collection. So that is the Shadowland Tarot. I love it. The next deck, I have to tell you, I had so much fun with this deck. Now, of course, I do a lot as a psychic around Halloween, and this was one of the decks I added to my collection. It is a new deck, I think, on the market this year. It is the Everyday Witch, and it is so adorable. It comes in this nice little magnetic box also. It came with a beautiful guidebook as well. Areas for note, but look at the quality of even the guidebook with the full color illustrations. Again, the quality is top notch. Absolutely beautiful. The backing is charming. But what I really loved about this deck was how easy it is to read. It is a Rider-Waite based deck. It's here's my Fool. Let's just see. You can see that it's a witch, ready to fall off the cliff. But it is such an easy read. It really was my go-to for my Halloween season. I just felt like I was drawn to it. It was fun to read. It was easy to read. It was, just charming witches, like a fun little story behind it. Shuffles beautifully. It's kind of slippery, shuffles beautifully. You can, if you were a traditional riffle shuffle, it does shuffle beautifully, but I'm not very good at that. But just charming, absolutely adorable. And I have quite a few friends that saw me using it over and over again and went out and got it, and they love it also. So I definitely am a fan of the Everyday Witch. It's something that I will use year round. I will tell you, I will use it year round. It's just easy to read. Some decks you just don't connect to. I don't know why, it's just, that this deck, I just kind of went right into the story. I just fell right into the story, and look at my, I love the little this way and that way on my chariot. I just love the little storylines behind it. Just a very charming, fun deck. Okay. So that's the Everyday Witch. This is a new deck on the market. Now, this is a very well-known designer, and this deck is the Angel Wisdom Tarot. Here is the box by Radleigh Valentine. And I did get on the list for, like the launch. And I was part of the launch, and I was really impressed with some of the extra things that he did with the launch. He had an invitation to join him for a walkthrough or flip through of the deck, and like the meanings behind the deck. So So I did attend that, and it was really interesting to listen to him talk about the creation of the deck. He's phenomenal. I mean, he's really a talented artist. He's really gifted, and I'm so grateful that he shared that kind of extra level as a designer to readers, because I did enjoy that. I will tell you, I don't do those things very often, but it was really fun to kind of attend the class, and it was free. It was because I was part of his launch. So I appreciate that. So thank you, Radleigh. And then it has a really nice little book, and he's a very fluent writer. He's a professional. He's been doing this with many decks over the years, and I love his take on the cards. And I'm going to show you the cards. They're connecting first of all, I love the backing. The backing is adorable. The backing is all of the cards in a circle. Images of all of the cards over around this world image. So I think that alone was such a clever design element. I do think that was awesome. The cards are oversized. They're a little bit weighty and a little bit chunky, but because I'm an overhand shuffler, they shuffle beautifully, and they are they're just weighty, so if you're not that kind of a shuffler, you may feel like it's a little awkward if my hand just actually has to stretch, but the images work. And so what he's done on each of the cards is he has, of course, my major arcana. He has their justice up there, but on the bottom of each of the decks, on each of the cards, he has a written sentence or so of the meaning behind the cards and something to think about. Okay, now some people may not like that. Okay, but like here's the Eight of Swords with this beautiful gate, and so some people may not like his interpretation of the card, but for many readers, or certainly beginner readers, it gives you something to think about. It gives you another perspective. It gives you information coming from somebody who knows tarot, designs tarot, been studying tarot his entire career, as for some keywords and some information. So from that point of view, I think it's an excellent deck. I think that for somebody who may be starting tarot, it's a user-friendly deck. Anybody could use this deck. If you want to use this deck just to pull a card for yourself each day, it's very friendly, it's very lighthearted, it's very angelic, and then you don't even have to go that far. It's not like you have to study the guidebook. You don't have to study tarot for years to understand the meaning of the card. It's almost a combination like oracle card, tarot card, with the the little affirmations and the meanings underneath. So I'll just read this one. This is the Ten of Cups, which is my happy family. Okay, and it says here, a happy marriage, happily ever after, emotionally contentment, a loving relationship with your children, raising children wisely and successfully, and people you can trust. So if you don't know the meaning behind the Ten of Cups, there it is. So this deck is wonderful for somebody who may say, you know what, I'd like to own a tarot deck for myself. Maybe I'm not interested in being a professional reader, but I'd like to be able to pull a card each day that makes me feel good. So this is a feel-good deck. It really is. It's really his, he's so lighthearted and connected to the angels, and he brings that element of the design into his work. So this is a wonderful deck for somebody who may be wanting to buy something for themselves. Okay. And readers, of course, readers can use it, but certainly, and anything from beginner to expert could use this deck is what I'm trying to say. But I do appreciate the time that he gave to the psychic community as his introduction. I do appreciate going above and beyond. And it was all free. It was all donated time that he did for the psychic community to share and introduce his deck. And I am so grateful for that, because you don't see enough of that. You don't see enough giving away in life. And I give away every day free readings on my channel. So it's nice to see the creators of the deck giving back to the readers. And I was really appreciative of that. So thank you, Radleigh. If you ever happen to stumble across my channel, thank you. Okay, so that was the Angel Wisdom deck. And I will link anything that I have a review for below, okay? I'm going to do a couple of honorable mentions before I do my grand finale of my deck of the year, okay? So it was impossible to narrow down to 5.5 decks, okay? I gave it some thought. I've been making my list. I crossed off things, and then I said, oh my God, what about that deck? I kind of forgot about it. I hadn't used it for a little while. So these are my honorable mentions. These are become part of my work that I go to often, but they may be seasonal, or they may be used just in a special way, okay? So the first one that I want to share is and I don't know how long this has been on the market, and I had to hunt it down. It's an indie deck. It's by Soul Cards Tarot. And if you watch me on my channel, you'll hear me saying, I'm going to my soul cards, okay? And what they've turned into me, here's the box. And I was on a hunt for a black and gold deck. And I had a lot of Rider-Waite decks already, and I didn't want the black and gold deck from Rider-Waite. I wanted something really unique and different. And I found this deck, and I had just one of the images, and I had to actually hunt it down. And then one of the Facebook tarot groups, I said, does anybody know this deck? And of course, they're also, people in those groups are amazing. If you want to know about tarot, go join one of the Facebook tarot groups. They're amazing. And so somebody said it's a soul deck from Indie, the Indie, company. So an Indie deck. And so I hunted it down. This is the back of the deck. It is, it's a matte gold edge. The weight of the cards is this petal rose finish. It's so gorgeous. But the images they're just line drawings, and they're gilded black with the gold metallic. Can you see the shimmer? So each of the cards has this image that represents the tarot, okay? And why I have been attracted to these is because it eliminated the images. It eliminated the drawing. And I call it it forces me to use my intuition more, okay? And when I want an accurate answer, when I want, this is a tough question on my channel, when I'm live, you will see me go to the soul cards, because I eliminate any kind of busyness, and I immediately just focus on receiving the message. So it's turned into a very strong tool for me, and just using my intuition more. Okay, so not that I don't use my intuition all the time, but it almost forces you to use your intuition. Okay, so I will tell you, this is not a beginner deck. All right. If you don't understand each of the meanings of the cards, they may all start to look the same. They may, if this is the page, this is the page, here's the Page of Cups. Okay. Here is Temperance. All right. So you really do have to have a basic understanding of the cards, I think, to be able to actually use these probably accurately. But here's the Chariot. Look at the wheel jumping out in the wings. I mean, just unbelievable. Like when I got these, I was just like blown away. I had tears in my eyes. I mean, they're exactly what I wanted. They are exactly what I wanted. So those are the soul cards. They are an honorable mention, believe it or not. That's how much I love them. They only made it to my honorable mention. So these other decks actually have, more power to me. Then I just added recently to my Christmas collection, and it doesn't come in a box. It came with this beautiful Santa bag. Okay. And this is the Christmas Tarot. And I got this on Etsy, and I want to give Etsy a plug. Okay. I got this on Etsy, this beautiful little snowflake backing. And it is a full Christmas vintage images, Victorian, turn of the century Santas, cards from, I think, the Ukraine. I'm not sure. But I did wait a few weeks for these to come. I got these in Etsy. Etsy has some amazing artists, and I like to support the little businesses. I don't even think this is a little business. I think this is actually a pretty substantial business. It was like WisdomByKK or something like that. But I will put the link below. I ordered 2 decks. I ordered an Oracle deck because I figured I'm having it shipped, from a foreign country. I might as well order a couple decks. So I did order 2 decks, and the Oracle deck was equally as pretty. Okay. So, but look at how charming. I will have this deck in my collection forever. It is my, it's going to be my go-to Christmas deck, which is exactly what I wanted. I am very, I grew up in New Hampshire. We used to go to the antique barns, and go antique shopping in Antique Alley in New Hampshire. And, and then I was an interior designer. So I have such an appreciation for vintage and, just gorgeous. I'm having so much fun reading these right now. These are actually on my table right now. I'm trying to get them as much use of them as I can during the holidays. But look at Temperance. Just so gorgeous. So that is an honorable mention. You kidding me? Okay. So for those of you that have been waiting, this actually was a hard decision, but it was so easy when you hear my story. Now, I don't even know where to begin with this story. This deck has been on my desk for a while. I don't know whether it was published this year or last year, but it's a relatively new deck. And I kept referring to it in my readings every day as, I love this deck. I kept saying, I love this deck. I'm so drawn to this deck. There's something about this deck. I just can't get enough of it. And if you watch some of my older videos throughout the year, it's, oh my God, I'm going to go to my favorite deck. You'll hear me saying it over and over and over again. So now for if you're new to my channel, I am a psychic medium and I do readings all over the world. I'm new to YouTube. Okay. Big following in Facebook. Hi, Facebook. I love you. I love my friends in Facebook. But I wanted to expand my business to YouTube. So this is why I created a channel, and I'm doing more lives on YouTube. So I had a woman book a psychic medium reading with me. And I believe she's in Norway. She's in Europe, I think. I'm not sure where she's from, but she's not from the United States. I have no idea who she is. Now, I wake up every morning and I have a scheduling calendar, and my calendar just fills in, and it's a phone call or it's a Zoom meeting. And I don't give much thought to, who's on my schedule. I look at my schedule and I go, okay, I've got a Zoom call with Karen, Kathy, whoever it is. So I get into my Zoom reading with this woman, And I'm using my favorite deck. And she had a tragedy in her life recently, and she lost her husband. And her husband came right through. Her husband wanted to send messages to her and her son. It was very emotional. We had a lot of messages come through. And I just felt so drawn to her. And I just kept saying, you're so intuitive yourself. And she says, yeah, okay, yeah, I am. And then Spirit started to share with me that Spirit wants you to continue to deliver the messages to many. Spirit wants you to continue to write and to create. And she's going, really? And I'm saying, yeah, Spirit's sharing with me that you're very talented and that your messages and your designs are meant to reach many. So I'm holding up her cards, and she says to me, that's my card. I said, what do you mean that's your card? I thought maybe she was just connected to the card. She goes, that's my card. I designed that deck. I said, you designed my favorite deck? So she waited about 25 minutes before she told me that she was the designer of the deck that I was using in the medium reading, talking to her husband. I lost it. I'm going to lose it now. I lost it. So Jasmeen was the creator of the Enchanted Dreams, my favorite deck that's been on my table for months and months, and I've been using it. I have a random psychic medium reading with her. She has no idea. She said she found me on Facebook. She did a Google search and she found me on Facebook. She just wanted, and she felt drawn to me, and she just booked me. Okay, so there's no coincidences. There's no, I don't think it's a coincidence that of all the readers that she found me. So I'm interpreting her cards, and all these amazing messages are coming through. And she's saying, yeah, I designed that deck. I said, this deck has so much meaning to me. You have no idea. So the reason why it is my favorite deck, not because of this story, is because tarot cards talk to me. I swear to God. Tarot cards are a tool, but they're more than a tool. Oh, I knew I was going to cry because the reading with Jasmeen was so emotional, and I haven't thought about it since then. But they're a tool that we use as gifted people. They're a tool that help Spirit deliver messages through us. So we're teams. The creators of the decks are equally gifted. They're gifted to create, and then they hand it off to the readers to deliver the message. So I was so blown away that I was using her tool that she created, that at a time in her life during a very tragic moment in her life, that I was able to connect to her lost husband using the deck that she created. And I don't think either one of us will ever forget that moment. I won't. I mean, I'm pretty sure Jasmeen feels the same way. But this is she's incredibly talented, and she has new decks on the way, and I can't wait to see them. But look at this gorgeous box. Let's just start with that. Beautiful box. And magnetic. And I do believe she's won awards for it. So congratulations, sweetheart. And then it has a beautiful book, beautiful guidebook with, look at these gorgeous color images with beautifully written guidebook. So I was impressed with this artist before I met her, before I connected to her. These are the backs of the deck. And they are gilded. They're oversized. They're huge. They shuffle beautifully. They kind of just slide. They just kind of slide. And then again, that swooshing sound that I like. Look at the Magician. The intensity, the images. She said she shared with me that her new decks that are coming are even more beautiful, which I can't imagine. So I'm in this reading with her, and I'm hearing Spirit say, your gift that we've given you is that you are going to help create so that we can deliver our messages. And she's looking at me going, like, I think she was in shock, to tell you the truth. I had no idea who she was when I was calling her. And here I am holding up her cards. I'm holding up her cards during her reading. And she's like, like, you're using my cards. And it was an awesome experience. So for that reason, my favorite deck of 2020 that I hold closest to my heart is the Tarot of Enchanted Dreams. And I hope that you enjoy watching me use these cards in the future. And I do have a full walkthrough of this deck, and I will post that link below. But it was a reminder to me why I study tarot, why I spend hours every day, hours reading, studying, learning, watching, to be in this world. And it's because it is an amazing, amazing tool to help me hear and see and feel things as a intuitive, so that I can share that with others. So I am so honored and so blessed to have had that experience. I've had some amazing experiences in my life. But I think that my cups are filled. My cups are filled. I hope you enjoyed my walkthrough of 5.5 favorite decks for 2020. Please hit the subscribe button, ring the bell, and we'll see you all again next year. Let's see what's in the year ahead for 2021. We'll see you then. Bye.